See, here today, he says he has a defense for why Jordan Ayew is the most important Black Stars player. I don't know if I should tolerate this for another week, but I'll consider it, maybe. And if we have time, I've just come into a very important document. That Nabila, this one you'll be very proud of me. The GFA's outrageous proposal to the Ministry of Youth and Sports on how they should spend the World Cup money. Hey, you see the details, you cry. All right, Black Stars head coach Chris Sitsofe also has an unveiling this weekend, so we'll be talking about that as well. The squad, some of the players will play tonight, and they'll start to arrive over the weekend. In fact, tomorrow I know Andre Ayew and Joseph Pistol will be arriving in Ghana. The two of them will play tonight for their various clubs. All right, show is live and interactive. It's streaming on a YouTube channel, the Joe FM YouTube channel. So if you happen to stay away from your radio, that's where you can catch us live. It's streaming there, so go there and catch the show. Also, the audio is streaming on Twitter Spaces at the Joy Sports handle, so Joy Sports GH. Search for us there and you find us there. The show is live and interactive. Get in touch with us on all of the issues we'll be talking about. Use the hashtag Gameplan. Who are your picks to make it to the semi-finals of the Champions League? You've seen the draw there. What are your fondest memories of Christian Atsu? How can we properly honor him? And in your opinion, that Paddy Mate version coming, it's coming. All right, the guys are here. Let me introduce them now. Sitsofe, guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen,
who is a lady here? Well, since Sitsofe is in a jalabia, which technically is a long skirt.
Hold on to the part.
Straight dress.
I'm outside.
You see, it's a straight dress. So that is
Gary, do not do that.
And it's still last week.
He was not coming back from that.
He was in a black jalabia last week.
No way. That's an offside. Offside position. Don't call the ball.
You see, he was in a black jalabia last week. Today he's in a. This was my wedding car.
What's the color?
So me, I know.
If it's your wedding color, what's the color?
It's burgundy. It is not wine. It's what? It's not wine, no. It's you see this man from Do. I
think
burgundy.
Beg and eat. Or is it beg and eat?
You see, when I was going to have my wedding,
yeah,
I came across fuchsia. Udim fuchsia.
No, what's that?
Fuchsia is the big brother of pink.
Wait, fuchsia is a color.
You don't know?
I have never heard.
When you were doing your wedding, the agbada you wore.
Yeah, is it not pink?
Look at this one. Fuchsia. You see, we have to report it to your wife.
What? Are you serious?
But yours was a shade of wine-ish, or.
Boss, Menkayo.
I'm asking whether he recorded this.
You are coming.
Down.
You see how on my wife's birthday I had to pay for the sins of forgetting her birthday last year. Don't be like me.
You see,
don't be like me.
I say, when my cousin got married last year, and on the day of his anniversary, right? It was around midday, so I call him. My cousin came and was Charlie, today be your anniversary. One. He said, hey. he said, hey, make I quickly redeem myself. Then he want to send a long message.
I can imagine the preparation Tina was making for him to come back. If the day end, we go see do
I said, see, when I tell you another story. I say, on the birthday of my current wife, when we were dating, I forgot. I was going through WhatsApp status and I saw, thank God for another year. I said, hey!
Forgetting birthdays. I won't share that story. No. Forgetting birthdays.
We are here for stories. Go on.
Forgetting birthdays. Fent, go on.
No, okay. Did it affect you?
Forgetting birthdays. Charlie, you stop.
Manga.
Forgetting birthdays.
Hey, Charlie.
But I shared my story in January when my wife had a birthday.
Oh, really? What happened?
You know, I wrote it on the when she had a birthday. I posted all these things.
Yeah.
So what happened was at the AFCON last year.
Mhm.
It fell on we're in Cameroon.
Yeah.
So around 8 p.m. 8 p.m.
Oh, Jerry.
My wife hits me up and says, "Hey,
I not forgetting
hey."
something.
So she said no. Like I think she asked me and me too. I said like, "What's going on today?" Oh, bro! Oh no, bro!
I realized that you mess up.
Oh no!
It be a beg. You go who a beg. You go compensate. You go Charlie.
We were judging.
All the emotional romanticism in the inside there. You go me.
I'll never admit it. Of course,
How I somebody wey don't admit say Jordan loading first.
I'll do the show again.
Anyway, we won't take any Jordan slander here.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
Speaking of
Koranteng.
Jordan slander,
Uh-huh.
we're introducing the people. So Danny is next.
That's right.
So he started from Sitsofe.
That's
Yeah,
right.
long
And he
skirt.
wear long
skirt.
Long
Uh-huh.
skirt.
I'm wearing jalabia.
That's right.
It is a
Because
long
ever
skirt.
since you
Just
came back
accept.
ever since you came back from Qatar, your dressing has changed.
Charlie, some of the happiest moments in my life was in Qatar.
Please, no Qatar stories. Let's move on.
If we start Qatar right now, we will finish. Some of the happiest moments in my entire life was that 2 weeks in Qatar.
Including the chasing.
Everything.
Wait, somebody chased you in Qatar.
Plenty people chased me. Another story for another day.
Oh, Charlie.
You can't be keeping the stories
What?
of other days.
That day,
Tell one.
I was getting close to the stadium 974.
Uh-huh.
When I saw security men, I was like, "Hey, waiting they happen, go."
Uh-huh.
I
Long
gave my
story.
eye. Did they go barricade my man? I said, "Hey,
You mean Sitcho was arrested and
Oh no,
I was not arrested.
The security came to
the
get me away because
security
of the
came to rescue him."
misunderstanding. I think there was bad communication to some people.
There was a
boss,
terrible
you were trying to
communication.
enter the stadium using vibes. Oh,
No.
No.
Journalists had my tickets back.
The thing is that it had to do with the tickets.
Yeah.
And many people were bussed to the stadium without tickets.
Yeah.
So they were waiting for
it's
tickets.
common in Ghana.
And the kickoff was closed. So they were getting agitated.
Yeah.
Who had the tickets? Make them call Sitcho. Sitcho they ran say, "Oh, I be Ghanaian. Make I go give my Ghanaian people tickets." I die.
So wait. So I get the story.
So
now.
the people thought that he was touting, right? They thought he was touting.
No, somebody had given
because he was holding tickets.
Somebody had given an information that their tickets were with me.
Yes.
And somebody said that he's actually maybe even selling the tickets. So they took that part of it that I perhaps were selling their Ghanaian tickets. So I was rushing to go and deliver their tickets to them so they can go and watch the game. Because me myself, I want to go see Su.
That's
So
true.
I was running. So when I got
That
there,
day,
the
anywhere
information
some
was
black
that
shots be here.
the information was that Sitcho is trying to sell the Ghanaian tickets. But I was rather rushing to get it to them. So when the police came to take me away from them, I told the police guys, no, hang on. These are their tickets. Make sure they get them. And the police was like, the same people chasing you. You're thinking about their ticket. I'm like, yeah, that is why I'm running. That's why I'm running to be here. And they said, Charlie, you make her relax. They gave me some food. I don't know if you chop that thing. I wanted to go and watch the match. They gave me food. They gave me food and water.
Is it biryani rice?
So when they saw the tickets, their head was like, he can't believe that the same people who were harassing me and maybe putting me in danger. I'm thinking about how to get to the station.
Selfless man.
Oh, Charlie!
That's right.
Oh, Charlie. The man of the people.
Okay. Enough stories for the day. Show is live and interactive as I indicated. Find us. We're streaming on our YouTube channel, Joy 99.7 FM on YouTube. Also on Joy Sports GH Twitter Spaces. We are streaming there as well. Muftawu, Nabila, welcome to the show as well. You and I just coming from
It is not even fair. You went past Danny. You went past Gary.
No, I've introduced all of them.
Pay attention.
I'm even shocked. Today is wearing black sock.
Are we writing an exam?
Today he's wearing black sock.
Hey, Muftawu.
He's wearing black sock. So
He's colorblind.
what's the color of the sock?
It's
This
blue
is
black.
blue black.
Blue black.
So wearing blue black sock.
Yeah.
Today
you know the color of your socks.
It is because you want to use VAR.
Okay, guys, let's settle down. Muftawu, you just got back from the State House where Christian Atsu's funeral was held. For those that were not there, briefly, just take us through what you saw and what impressions you got from everything that happened there.
When I got to the State House around 6 a.m., there was a giant billboard out there that said, "Your legacy lives on. Rest peacefully, legend." That was what welcomed me to the forecourt of the State House. And by 7 a.m., the numbers that showed up to file past Christian Atsu said a lot. It gave some kind of assurance that his legacy indeed lives on. At age 31, Christian Atsu was able to bring the president, the vice president, the former president of the country, Minister of Youth and Sport, members of parliament, other ministers, the chief of staff, showing up to for his pre-burial rites. I felt that at that point Christian Atsu has lived a life worth emulating. I'm not sure there are many people out there who have even lived up to 70, 80, 90, got a state burial, and were able to get massive adoration or celebration like Christian Atsu got today. Former Black Stars players, as you saw him, Emmanuel Ebue was there, Emmanuel Adebayo was there. He said a lot. The Chief Executive Officer of Kumasi Asante Kodokonana Yamponsa was there. I cannot put words together. I had a conversation with many of them. I spoke to Crime Check Ghana, I spoke to PFAG members, I spoke to leadership of the Ghana Football Association. There was no one that had a story outside the eulogies we've heard about Christian Atsu. Everyone felt that Christian Atsu has been a massive figure, and we all got to hear of the stuff Christian Atsu was doing after his demise. This tells us that this was a man who was committed to contributing to society without the lenses of the cameras. The big question, or the bigger question everyone is asking is, who would be the next Christian Atsu to touch lives? The innocent children that he came through for them whenever they needed someone. The innocent children that anytime they saw him, they wore some smiles. And the prisoners, about 140, 150 prisoners, when I spoke to Crime Check Ghana, he said that Christian Atsu came through for them many times. And in fact, the arms around the child, they were also there. In fact, I spoke to Ellie, who spoke about how Christian Atsu contributed to society. And there was also his international PR, Gainer Vashon, who said Christian Atsu is one in millions, not even millions. He says a lot about the person that we have lost. And he's gone home, maybe to heaven, back to his maker. The maker who gave him the talent says, come back. Maybe he's going back to heaven to go and play football there. And the heart he gave to him to contribute to humanity on earth, just maybe God says, this is the time. I asked you to come and do something and you've delivered. Come back home.
Yeah. Interesting. Gary, I'm sure you followed the funeral as well. Christian Atsu's, but beyond the funeral, his legacy, what legacy does he leave? I mean, does he leave behind?
Well, there isn't anything to say that hasn't been said. You know, so many columnists have been dedicated to this, and like I've said a million times, what I can say is what I take from his story is that what will be said when I go. And I think that's the question that we should all ask.
And is that exactly what Nana Yamponsa told me when I spoke to him?
Yeah. What will be said when we go? You know. So, I mean, the guy was 31. Do you know what it means to get people say this stuff about you at 31 years? 31 years. You know, to affect the lives of people like this. So the only thing I can say is, Gary, what will be said when you go, and if you have not been working on it, probably it's a good time to start affecting people positively. And so for me, that's it really.
Sitso, any words for Christian?
Yeah, I mean, everybody speaks about the things he did and the things he did for people without wanting even the media or even family members of the people he was helping to know.
Yeah.
So he's speaking about how good he was. Christian Atsu was a footballer. And normally when footballers die, from the Pelés, from the Maradonas, all of them, we're speaking about how good they were or how talented they were. But here we are talking about something far greater than just football.
Mm-hmm.
And that is typical. That is a perfect description of the kind of life he led. Quite clearly tells you that everything he did outside football, that was real life. Affecting lives, touching lives. Yeah, when you play football, you score all the goals, all of us will celebrate. You have to get to our emotions. But the things that changes people's lives are the things that Atsu did. And Christian Atsu, I don't think we've even said enough about how talented he was and how unlucky he got during his career.
Yeah.
Because one of the reasons why he didn't maybe hit the heights he should have was because of some of the injuries that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And for a player as quick as he was, he needed to be fit enough to be bursting past people. But because of the injuries, he didn't at some point become the winger that he set out to be. So because he was so good, it actually dwarfed how talented he was and what he could have been if not for the injuries that he suffered at times in his career.
Yeah.
So for me, I think he's led a life that when you look around, when footballers depart, we speak about how good they were, what they could have achieved, what they achieved on the pitch. We don't normally talk about what they did in their lives.
Yeah.
But Christian actually, like I said, has done things far more important than football. The more reason why everybody speaks about those things rather than the football star that he was.
Yeah,
Brilliant
and for me, the last time Christian actually played for the Blasters was at AFCON 2019.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to be there. In the very first game, he got injured.
Yeah.
And never played again throughout that tournament. And never for the Black Stars again. But Daniel, you watched an awful lot of him, especially at Newcastle. Arguably, that's where his best football was played. And it's almost ironic because at Newcastle, he didn't exactly play to the talents that we've known him to be. Exciting, great dribbler, speed. He adjusted to the team. And you look at someone like Rafa Benitez, speaking very highly of Christian. He was a player that was dependable, just like the way he's been very dependable for many people, even off the pitch.
Yeah, it's I think it's with Newcastle where he found stability. He had been bouncing around since moving to Chelsea, club after club, and he didn't really get a consistent run of games in any of those clubs until Newcastle came in. And I think it was not just Newcastle but Rafa Benitez. He was the one able to use Atsu in that system that brought the best out of him. The season where they gained promotion back into the Premier League, Atsu was one of Newcastle's best players, and that's where we saw how good he was, where Benitez gave him the freedom to express himself. When they came back into the Premier League also, he sort of changed his role, and as you are saying, he wasn't that exciting winger that we knew him to be, but as part of the system, he was doing his job. And that is something that coaches love about players, the ability to sacrifice aspects of themselves for the team, for the sake of the system, for the sake of the team. And when you listen to what Rafa Benitez said about Atsu, and the interesting thing is that Rafa Benitez, when Atsu was leaving Newcastle in his last season, he said it. There were a number of interviews during that season where he was praising Atsu. And if you compare what he said then to what he said after Atsu died, it was really not the same thing. You can see that the impact was the same. He didn't need to wait for Atsu to pass before he said those things in terms of the footballer Atsu. So that just shows you how good he is. That just shows you the thinking of football these days and what managers expect from players, and Atsu's ability to give back to the managers who trusted him. And when I say the managers who trusted him, I'm putting a lot of praise on the laps of Rafa Benitez, because we all knew how good Atsu was, but it was Rafa Benitez who gave him that platform to allow him to be good, to allow the Premier League to see what he had to offer. So look, I think he did his part as a footballer. He was brilliant, and I always, for me as a Ghanaian, and I think it's same elsewhere, I always judge Ghanaian players by what they do for the country first before I judge them what they do at club level. And the fact that Atsu, when you go back and you think about the AFCONs that Atsu played, he was top 3 in at least, of course, if you talk about AFCON 2019 where he played just one game. Apart from that, he was top 3 best players in every competition when he came to the AFCON. He was very dependable, and that's why the coaches loved him. His ability to live up to the big occasion was something that just set him apart from everybody else. But quickly before I wrap up, what's the interesting thing about the question, who will be the next Christian Atsu? If we translate it back to how he lived his life off the pitch, the fact that nobody really knew what exactly he was doing, it just shows you how grounded he was in his faith, in Christianity. If you read Matthew 6:3, it says, when you are giving, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. And that is the principle. That's the principle in this life. You don't need to go to an orphanage and take pictures and put it on social media for people to know what you are doing. But what will actually show the impact is what the people will say about you. Nobody knew the story about Chris Clown. Actually, nobody knew. When the thing happened, and then he came back and told the story back as far back as 2015.
It's crazy, yeah.
And he had been paying the boys' fees until he finished, and had still been keeping up with him. And Chris Clown hadn't said anything until Atsu passed. That is proper impact. That is where people are feeling you. You don't need to go and broadcast what you are doing, but people are feeling you. And I think everybody should take a page from Atsu's book. You don't need to go around saying, I've done this. No. You do it from the goodness of your heart. And at the end of the day, what you've set out to achieve will surely come back, and the praise will come back to you.
And I agree with you 100%. And that's why I personally feel it's a bit unfair when people say, why didn't people say all these good things about him when he was alive? They had to wait till he died. The point is, maybe he didn't want people to know about all the good things. And the principle that Daniel spoke about, he doesn't want to do all the good things and tell the whole world. So if you don't know what he's doing, the good things he's doing, how do you talk about them? So when we criticize and say, why didn't we do or praise him, or why didn't we say all these good things about him when he was still alive? Why are we saying it when he's dead? You also have to be... There's AC Milan versus Napoli. Right, so these are the top 8 teams in Europe. It doesn't matter if you are top of the league somewhere, or if you are second somewhere, or if you are... These are the top 8 teams in Europe. Top 8 teams in Europe.
No, are you shading Gary or what?
No. You know what he's doing? He's saying what will make you so happy.
No. He's trying to also say that competing in Europe. Competing is Europe.
I want to say this fact.
No, but you don't get what Fentuo is doing.
Am I stating what I'm stating? Is it an error?
No, it's true. But the fact of the matter is that a certain team in England is 10th.
And
that's what he's saying.
That a certain team in England is first, and it is not out of Europe.
Exactly.
You see, shifting goalposts. We are talking Champions League. You are talking Premier League. What is that?
It's facts.
It's facts.
Factos.
It is.
Factos.
It
So
is
there's
what
a
it-
tier 2 of Europe. They also had their draw.
Please, we don't watch football on Thursdays here.
Have you seen Joe FM doing Thursday commentary before?
I'm trying to help you.
We don't do.
Have you seen Joe FM doing Thursday commentary
For
before?
what? For what?
We don't do
Why, we don't know what to use. that.
So what I'm insinuating? That's what it shows.
Guys, Atsu is done. Now let's do Champions League. Okay, UEFA Champions League draw. Listen, the first time I saw the draw against Real Madrid, I'll be honest with you, from a very, very honest Chelsea fan, I was very confident Chelsea would qualify.
This guy. Actually, you know what?
But maybe we should hear your reason why.
He doesn't have a. He doesn't have a.
No, hold on.
It's an emotional reason.
There's no reason. Maybe it's
So
emotional.
you
But
read
first,
your
what was
time.
your reason?
Behave.
Your first,
Is it Potter?
yeah.
Yeah.
What was your reason?
The reason is Chelsea. It really doesn't matter who the coach is. This is a club with pedigree on European nights.
Okay, hold on.
Yes, pedigree. They've won the Champions League 2 times. You're sitting next to a man who supports a club who's never won one. So
Fair point.
Respect.
Fair point.
let's move on.
No, but
throw that in.
you know, but before we came on air, when you were talking about Milan
Yeah.
and Napoli,
Yeah.
you made a point
Yeah.
that Champions League, yeah, those were your words. What's the saying?
Soon Yedebo.
Exactly. And that's what
Fentuo is saying.
If Fentuo
Hold on. I'm saying Real Madrid. Let me make my point.
Relax. Thank you. Thank you.
I hadn't said that Chelsea's pedigree in the competition is greater than Real Madrid. It can't be. You know that. That's
But
not
in
possible.
8 years,
What I'm saying
Real
is-
Madrid has won the Champions League more than the entire history of Manchester United. In 8 years.
And that's Chances as well.
Everybody just chasing someone. Muftawu.
And let's take an example.
Muftawu, keep quiet.
In 8 years, they've won the Champions League more than the entire history of Chelsea.
Your point is,
My point is that they've got pedigree. You can't
Okay.
compare Chelsea's pedigree to that of Real Madrid.
are you done?
I'm not starting. I'm not starting.
Are you done?
No, I'm about to start.
I'm just saying that the odds are firmly stacked against Chelsea. This is the truth.
Yeah.
Because Real Madrid are, well, they own the Champions League, literally. Okay? But the last 3 times Chelsea have, well, the last 2 times Chelsea have met Real Madrid, Chelsea have been very, very competitive. Granted, it was under a different coach, Thomas Tuchel. But I have seen Chelsea go into matches in European competitions where they have been completely ruled out. Even last season, when Chelsea got knocked out by Real Madrid, everybody thought the tie was